Hello, great people. Welcome back to Global Happenings today. We're so excited to have you again. A few hours ago, the House of Representatives spokesperson took our time to talk about the emergency rule in Rivers State. And interestingly, he sent a strong warning to the Vice Admiral Iborete Ibas, retired, who is the sole administrator in Rivers State, not to go beyond his constitutional boundaries over the issue of budgeting, that he doesn't have the constitutional right to prepare and present any budget, that he's under proper supervision of the National Assembly. Interestingly, the Senate spokesperson also have spoken up concerning the emergency rule, what actually happened, why their position, and what Nigeria should expect in the future. Took our time to talk about the name that they are nationally known for right now, talking about Rubber Stamp Senate, and explain why it seems as though they are agreeing with the executive. Full details of this in a jiffy. Now, according to the news, the Nigerian Senate has said due process was followed before okaying the emergency rule recently declared by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in Rivers State. The Senate spokesman, Senator Yemi Adaramodu, who stated that, also played down the insinuation that the National Assembly has become a rubber stamp for the executive. Adaramodu, who is the chairman Senate Committee on Media and Public Affairs, said that their actions and relations with the executives are in line with the Constitution, the rule and orders of the state. The federal lawmaker, who is representing Ekiti South Senatorial District, spoke in his Ekiti country home during a chat with journalists. Speaking further on the emergency rule, Senator Adaramodu said Section 63 of the Constitution expressly stipulated that the Senate and the House of Representatives will make rules and laws that will guide activities internally. According to him, he says, so we have guidelines, and guidelines is that even in the Constitution, outside Section 305, that stipulate that there could be emergency rule in any part of Nigeria if there is imminent danger that can jeopardize the peace and the smooth running of the country, which could or would be determined by the president, and then it is not absolute. It is not absolute because it has to come to the National Assembly for consideration, and then the National Assembly constitutionally is given only 48 hours, 2 days to look at it and consider it. He went further to say that there are other prescriptions, like when a state of emergency is declared, its consideration by the National Assembly must be through closed session because it is a situation. It is a security matter which cannot just be open to everybody for either interpreting or misinterpreting. It has to be debated in a closed session. Looking at Order 134, Order 135, and 136, it stipulates that anything agreed upon after extensive discussion at the closed session cannot be brought to plenary for debating or discussing again. So the issue was addressed by the National Assembly in line with the law and rule. It was debated exhaustively, and we all agreed at the closed session that we are supporting it. He disclosed that the Senate increased the clauses outside what President brought. According to him, he says, like the emergency rule may not last 6 months if there is feelings that the atmosphere is conducive, that the sole administrator will not only be reporting to the president, that the National Assembly shall continually and continuously adjudicate and do oversight functions over the sole administrator in Rivers State, meaning that since we made laws of appropriation, then it must be supervised by us, and that a committee is set up to bring all the warring factions together to mediate and arbitrate among them to bring peace and make a report to the presidency and the National Assembly, and the rule will be called off and normalcy will prevail. The federal lawmaker, who appealed to Nigerians not to be misinterpreting the rule of the National Assembly and the country's constitution the way they like, said the National Assembly is not bending its rule, contradict its rule, and we are doing what we should be doing. On the perception that National Assembly has become a rubber stamp to the executive, his words, and I quote, he said, "What is the meaning of rubber stamp? So does it mean that if The executive bring appropriation bill, which is the budget. The federal government wants to construct road, wants to increase allocation to the judiciary, gives new minimum wage to workers because we don't want to be called rubber stamp. We should oppose it and throw them away. One thing is this: we are not in the Senate with gloves in our hands to go and be knocking, beating, fighting the executive or other arms of government. That is not our own calling. Our calling is that we are partners in progress with other arms of government. We make laws to execute is in the hands of executive, to interpret is in the hands of judiciary. We will not be making laws and at the same be interpreting it and be executing it. What are the laws that we have made that have shown the Senate or the House of Representatives as an entity that is not focused? He said even the tax reform bill the government was initially criticized for, with people raising eyebrows, has become acceptable to them after the processes were duly followed by the National Assembly and passed at the third reading. That was the position. Now, the most interesting part of this is the fact that he had pointed out to Nigerians that there is no assurance that the 6 months will still stand when it comes to executive rule in Rivers State. But promise Nigerians that if the atmosphere is conducive, like what we are seeing right now in Rivers State, the atmosphere is conducive, that there will be a team that will have to arbitrate, mediate between the warring factions, and they will reach a consensus, which means normalcy may come back to Rivers State earlier than now. But most Nigerians are of the opinion that this is totally political, that the president might decide to run this for as long as possible. But coming from the spokesperson, the spokesman of the Senate, a colleague is in the House, what's your standpoint as it has to do with this? Do you think that what Adaramodu has said as a spokesman will stand the test of time?
The question now is, what or who are the warring parts? This warring part, have they stopped development in Rivers? The answer is no. Let's tell ourselves the truth. It's just a case of between Fubara and Wike. If between the two of them they can settle their differences, nothing is really wrong or nothing is really going on in Rivers State. And now we all know, or we all have seen several times when Pandef, when Pa Edwin Clark was alive, when Pandef did all they could to see how they could, mend fences between Wike and Fubara. And Wike have said it times that number that he will never go back to making Fubara his guy, his G again. And we have seen him severally now, having private talks and chats with Senator Barry Biggie. And rumor have it that that's his choicest candidate for 2027 governorship in Rivers. So we now see that the power play have begun already. If they are looking at settling, reconciling with what or with who, we all know the two people. And these two persons, Fubara have always been willing. The question is Wike willing? So if that's the only condition that they'll use to bring back normalcy and stop this issue of a declaration of state of emergency, then it's going to be a long time. But let's see how it plays out anyway, since he has said what he said.
All right. But another question I want to ask now: when we talk about the warring side in Rivers State, I think the Minister of Federal Capital Territory is not part of the warring team here.
Well,
he's behind them. So I think maybe, do you think that is what is going to happen very soon? Maybe that's the reason why he's hosting these guys in the UK, possibly to give them a brief about what they will have to say, if such an opportunity comes up where the House of Representatives, the Senate, that's the Green and the Red Chambers, decides to meet them and then see how they can resolve the issue. Do you think that this may be the reasons for all these meetings coming up?
Now you've answered the question literally. To start with, for the fact that Wike took time, did such very lofty sponsorship alongside, according to them, Rivers Elders Council. I wonder who this River Elders Council
You can't trust these guys, I'm telling you.
Now, if they can't do all of that, and Wike does not invest in lost projects.
Yeah.
If he has taken them to UK, he's literally telling them, money is not the problem, but you must do my bidding.
Yes.
I told you will come back, you are back. It took a while, but eventually you're back. those suspended. We all know that we want this suspension to happen so that red pen will be taken away from Fubara. Now the red pen will be taken away. Now, if he must come back, it's going to be our turn. Now, I may not be the one in front, but you are fronting me.
Yeah,
and these are my conditions.
Exactly.
They are going to ask you this. These are the reply you're going to give to them.
Exactly.
That. If they refuse to give you this, that, it's storm it. We'll go back to status quo. Let the 6 months continue.
Wow, this is almost, I think this was what I was expecting. You know, Wike is not just a normal dude, he's a very strong political expert. Let's see how it plays out. We'll meet in the comment section. Do you think that the 6 months may not